Hello, everyone. Today is Friday, March 8th, 2024, at 3:25 p.m. in the afternoon. It's supposed to be raining and storming really bad. Really bad. The sky is dark outside. I don't know if they have, um, you know, lightning or thunder. Oh, yeah, I did get some alerts on my phone. So, excuse me. So I've been having, yeah, they're supposed to have like it's that season again for, tornadoes and hail. Excuse me. So, I don't think it's supposed to rain tomorrow, but it's gonna rain today. So, but yeah, so yesterday evening, they said that Gretna police sergeant wasn't there. So it was the lieutenant who returned my call. Um because I called yesterday morning and I don't know if it was that same secretary, but she wasn't really mean yesterday morning. So um I'm angry, very angry, and feeling like all this that I'm forced to have to go through is just unfair. It is so unfair. And so many people try to say that to go through this is a blessing when you basically you know excuse me, you basically it's like, how come the gang stalkers don't get locked up for their crimes at all? At all. And then if somebody succeeds at getting a perp locked up and they're targeted, then they end up selling out and becoming a perp, and then that perp ends up becoming targeted. Like if the perp were to get prosecuted, for the gang stalking, the only way that they would get in trouble is if they decide to break away from the so-called mind control and start to try to fight back, and if they want out. But yeah, I mean, the gang stalkers get paid to do things that we get in trouble for. So, you know, what those boys did to me, um, you know, I mean, was it last week? Yeah, I guess it was. No. Yeah, it was the week before last. Well, it was almost 2 weeks ago. When those boys set up what they did with the cake and everything. Um, you know, it seems like as if me going to that spot, that house, because the fake gangs, narcissistic gang stalking police wrongfully banned me from a public space. So I've been hearing people say that the cops cannot ban you from somewhere that's public. So other people were allowed to be there, but you're telling me I couldn't be there. So then, like a hamster on a wheel, or like a mouse going through, a mouse being trapped in a maze. I mean, a mouse being trapped in a maze and end up, going through the wrong the wrong spot, you know, if I mean that's what it felt like, you know, for me to try to go you know, wherever I thought I knew it was safe. And so, excuse me, and then as I said, I pointed out that I was there for not during the day, because during the day I would leave and go to the library, but at nighttime I would just be there for a few hours and being torn up by mosquitoes and not even getting to get any sleep. And excuse me. And so many cops, either the same cops kept on passing by over and over again, or either that or multiple cops passing by. But I just saw cop vehicles pass by multiple times. All 3 days. And it's like when they said, "Oh, that's somebody's property, that's a whole for sale sign." I thought that it was the fake Darnell Williams perp called and lied, or one of the online stalkers. So it's not their property, and they called up and lied and said it was. That happened. I mean, as I said, that happened in Pensacola. So, they doing this troll shit online and ruining people's life for shits and giggles and for fun, and feeling like, we're going to make your life a miserable hell if you don't submit and join us, or if you don't sell out. And everything I've been reporting and documenting and showing y'all give me thumbs down, or you ignore me, or you think I'm being negative. You won't take me seriously, or you think that I'm just draining you down spiritually. Well, why you subscribed? To try to police and control somebody's mental health. So, that happened to me in Pensacola. That perps, the fake Darnell Williams perp, he lied and said that vacant bookstore was his personal property, and then the cops came at me brutally, and brightening their lights and their vehicle lights into my face, and harassing and bullying the fuck out of me. And I think they came more than once. And so once I after they left, I logged on to TikTok, and then the fake Darnell Williams perp had already bragged and rubbed it in my face that it was him that did that. So nobody else would have made a complaint. But I don't know what perp that was that left a big, huge knife. I don't remember if it was a bloody knife or a knife by that spot. And I figure it was used to intimidate or threaten me. So it was a vacant, empty lot. It was a bookstore that was, abandoned. I don't know if it was called abandoned, but, it said for sale or for lease or something like that, or available. One of those, and like when I was in Pensacola, businesses that said for sale, for lease, or whatever. But I never came across a house that was like that. But I saw homeless people sleep by houses in Pensacola that said for sale. And so you would deal with, I would hear a lot of the times about how a homeowner that does not have a for sale sign, and they had their active house, people live there, but the owners go on vacation and then come back, and homeless squatters there, and then they say that, oh, you can't get the squatters out, or you can't evict them, or you can't make them leave. And then I've seen videos about how homeowners end up getting arrested, wrongfully arrested, and going to jail for squatters. Taking over, homeless squatters taking over. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, that's really fucked up. You know, but excuse me. So yeah, I mean, I even saw in Pensacola, other homeless people that sleep by, you know, houses that say for sale and stuff like that. On West Gardner Street, I saw it with my own eyes, and they were trying to protect themselves for the rain. They didn't mean no harm. So, excuse me. But but then so I'm angry because I hear all the time about how gang stalk, and I've had it happen to me, but it was I didn't have a smartphone like I have now, and I knew nothing. I didn't know what was going on. All I know is I was living in Los Angeles, and the gang stalking was really bad, and neighbors turned against me, landlord turned against me, and you know, for me to deal with I didn't own the property, but I rented with Section 8 the property, and the fact that I had to live there, was being like vandalized or broken into. Like there was a point in time the perps were breaking in my house like every day, and I was confused and didn't know what the hell was going on. They would tamper with my mail. They would leave smushed dead birds by the on my doorstep with a whole bunch of flies, like, or they would intentionally leave animal doo doo like right on my doorstep. They would enter in and out of my gate when they had their own gate, and they even took the knob off the gate, and they would strategically wait for me to open my windows to start smoking, congregate with fake friends, and start smoking, and all the cigarette smoke get all inside. Cigarette smoke and weed get inside of my house that I was renting, and I would go to sleep, and then they would be like force orgasming me or hit me with direct energy weapons. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Vibrating my body, and I would go to sleep, and then wake up, and the cabinets in the kitchen are open. Or if I go to the library and come back, both the front and the back door wide open. And I'm surprised nobody really stole anything. But there was a point in time this was happening every day. Not every day that I lived in LA, but like on the days, some of the days when I would be gone somewhere, like if I was going to the library, like, or going to Venice Beach, or excuse me, or something like that, if I go downtown to Grand Central Market or something like that, if I had to go to the Social Security office in Huntington Park and be abused over there, and then I come back home and like all my doors, excuse me, all my doors are all my doors are like the front and the back door, they're all open. Sometimes they will open the windows too. Now I have to deal with noise harassment, noise campaigns, and so why nobody come? And I got food poison. Like I I got food poisoned twice when I was throughout the 4.5 years I lived in LA. Um, but before I was living in Los Angeles, I was in this transitional housing in the Long Beach before I got the Section 8 before the apartment. I mean the house. It was a house, not an apartment. Excuse me, before the house was ready. And they call it a transitional shelter, but it was a 4 bedroom, 4 bathroom house in Long Beach. And the owner, Pam, was and her husband, they were abusive. And you know, they were abusive and narcissistic, but the Pam lady was more abusive than the Victor guy. You know, and she was an abusive, narcissistic, sadistic tyrant bully that demanded authority, control, and respect. And I stood up to her. And she threw me out cold on the streets. You know, and it was trying to take all my money. Excuse me. And so some of the women there were nice and supportive, but you know, it didn't take very long for the fact that every woman in that apartment, I mean, I'm sorry, in that transitional home, that they started bullying and ganging up on me and gang stalking me and make you feel unsafe, and they bully, harass, and threaten you, and you know, and it's the same way with regular homeless shelters. Or if you have a roommate and living with somebody and you're targeted, it's not safe. It's not safe. Because, like, if your roommate, you know, will be a perp, but, you know, you never know if you confront them about, stealing your, you know, you can confront them about stealing, anything, like anything. You know, you can confront them, like you can bust them in the act of, you know, using some of your toothpaste, and you question or confront them about it, and then it can escalate to be bad enough that they will stab you to death because you asked them about, hey, why you using my toothpaste, or why, you know, why did you steal my deodorant, something like that, you know. So that's one of the reasons why I'm scared to live with anybody. You know, other people feel like they're afraid to be alone. If they're targeted, they'd be afraid to be alone, and feel like they have to live with somebody in order to feel safe. But me, it's the opposite. You know, and they might have some other people where they might feel safer alone than living with people. Excuse me. Or you might have a perp roommate that y'all get into an argument because they got the TV too loud, or if they want to force the air conditioner to be too cold. You know. Excuse me. So then yeah, I mean, or you don't like your roommate smoking, and and you know, if they would get mad and you know, put you in the hospital or something. But nowadays it's like people are saying it's best to ride solo because there's so many what truly crazy people are out here. And the person that you might see that's the so-called framed crazy person on the news that had killed somebody, sometimes that might be that somebody that's not crazy or unhinged, but somebody that's a targeted individual and freaking had enough. and fed up. You know, but me personally, any fight that I get into with anybody, I will always lose. Because of my disability, I will always lose. I mean, those cops the other day, last week, they had, strength what felt like worse than a man. But they were masculine women, though. And it feels like, with my disability, it seems like everybody is way stronger than me. Hey, my ears are itchy. It feels like everybody's, I can't even win a fight against a 15-year-old when I was in Taekwondo and karate. It seemed like everybody's way stronger than me. Physically, Excuse me. It feels like everybody's way stronger than me and more powerful physically. And even psychologically and mentally, it seemed like everybody always got the upper hand over me. But anyway, though, yeah, like if I'm in a shelter or a transitional house, or even have just one roommate, and I'm living in their house or they're living with me, it always ends up in like unsafe predicament, you know, and they will hurt you. So, or if you might have a roommate that's intentionally try to trigger and provoke you because they're perps. Excuse me. So I don't see how you can read the Bible 1 minute and then perp somebody the next, and then tell me I'm hellbound or I'm going to hell, or that there's no hope in heaven for me. But you're the one that's, throwing up satanic hand signs and reading from the NIV Bible. So, but anyway, I'm angry because, you hear about targeted individuals mention about whether they have a place to own or rent, a place to live. Excuse me, you hear about gang stalkers illegally acquiring keys to the target's house and breaking into their house and gaslighting and rearranging their items or stealing their items or replacing, like, if you have like a brand new green dress with the store tag still on it that you never wore and it's in your closet hanging up, the perps will gaslight and come with a raggedy green dress with holes in it, and you wonder where your nice new green dress was. I heard that the perps will break into the target's home and install secret cameras and everything, And so I'm angry the fact that I didn't know that it was illegal. I'm gonna say it again. I didn't know that it was illegal for me to stay by that house, but I didn't know where else to go, and no more buses were running that night. And I didn't have a way to get across the river. So for the next 3 nights, after the police incident, I stayed by that house, and I didn't have anywhere else to go. And so I didn't break inside of the house, and there was not one sign that I saw that said no trespassing, private property. I didn't see any signs that said that, but they did have for sale signs. but I did not see any signs that said no trespassing private property. So I heard that by law, um, the police was supposed to just you know, warn me and tell me to leave, and if I came back, then they should arrest me for trespassing. And I heard that the trespassing thingy has to be written. How many times I've been wrongfully banned or trespassed from somewhere because of due to the gang stalking and being forced homeless. Even when I wasn't homeless, I would be wrongfully banned from places of business. If I wasn't homeless, I wouldn't even be in hotels and motels and stuff unless I would be like on vacation, or which I can never even be rich enough for any vacation. Excuse me, but I wasn't homeless in 2018, and I was working at the zoo, and it was a gang. I mean, the abusive narcissistic gang stalkers held me back and set me back with they made sure I didn't get to have a good time at the at the Greyhound station. And it was an abusive narcissistic fake black gang stalker. It was a guy that at the Greyhound station here in New Orleans, and he was extremely rude, and then psychologically and mentally distracted me, and he kept my driver's license. And it wasn't until the bus was in Alabama, very close to Florida, when I realized that my driver's license was missing. And then the cheaper hotel the cheaper motel in Fort Walton Beach that I was trying to go to, they wouldn't let me go there, and they said no ID, no room. Like, no ID, no room. So that was a cheaper motel, but they wouldn't let me go because I didn't have my driver's license. So I was forced to have to use like a more expensive hotel, and I went there, and then they contacted the Greyhound station, and the Greyhound station sent copies of my driver's license, and I was able to get the hotel room that way. And then I spent like 2 nights in that hotel, and I was like very sleep deprived, and I went to Fort Walton Beach and Destin for like a couple of days, a quick vacation, and and I went to Fort Walton Beach one day and Destin the next, and or was it the other way around? And and of all places, when I was in Destin, that lady Ernestine, that that when it happened where I became targeted, and that was the foster sister April's. I don't know whether to say that was April's best friend, but she was a very close friend of April. And Ernestine, she was the one who, when a sexual situation happened, that Lanika hiked up, and the foster mom scapegoated me, and that's how I became targeted. Ernie, she lied on. She was meddled in and tried to talk about, lied on me, and just made this false assumption that I just wanted Brandy and Joni to get in trouble. So Ernestine's niece, is her name Ariane? I crossed paths with her, of all people. And I think I remember she asked to take pictures with me. And she pretended to be fake nice. And I don't remember whether or not she asked for my phone number. Like, how the fuck did some? And I wasn't even doing YouTube videos. I wasn't recording and filming gang stalking. I had limited knowledge of the gang stalking. Like, how the hell did she gang stalk and follow me all the way freaking Destin, Florida? And she and I didn't know. If I would have known the truth, then you know I wouldn't have. I would have said no. I don't want you to take no pictures. Don't take any pictures of me. But then later on, like a couple of weeks later or so, she gang stalked me at this event at the convention center what was supposed to be the Essence Festival. I would never go to such an event like that again. Because I almost got, stampeded, it was a very scary situation, and saw her there, and I asked her if I could have a copy of those pictures, that she took of me, and she acted real weird, very funny and stuck up about it, and and I don't know what she did with those pictures, so, but when I went to for Walton Beach in Destin, I I don't remember if I went to the water park, but but yeah, it was a lot less money I could have spent if that guy wouldn't have sabotaged or set me up with stealing my driver's license. The worker at the Greyhound station, and he was rude, had an attitude, and distracted me. He didn't even give me my ID back. So, and then I was sleep deprived both days and couldn't even enjoy myself. And I thought swimming in the Gulf water would have helped me sleep better, but nope, I got absolutely no sleep. None at all. So, in 2015, there was a white lady that wasn't from Los Angeles, and she struck up a conversation with me and spent the afternoon with me and asked to take pictures with me. And then when I asked her if I could have a copy, of the picture, she looked at me like I was really crazy, or made it like as if I asked her an inappropriate question. But you would have thought she looked too innocent to be a criminal. Because she was one of, the rich folks. And so, but anyway, though, and there was a few other instances where people would either ask me for my phone number or ask me for my pictures, and pretending that they're trying to help me out of my homeless situation. Or they would have fake bastards that would try to act like they want to offer me to prostitute like they act like as if they're trying to manipulate to offer me to prostitute for pretty much free. Like in 2019, when I after I moved to Pensacola, and then I had that incident where I was very sleep deprived and couldn't drive the U-Haul truck. But yet I found myself being forced to have to walk all the way from West Jefferson Hospital back to that motel. Not high school, but hospital. All the way from Marrero to Gretna. It took me like 3 hours. And I was days of sleep deprived. And, and they had, I felt so degraded and disrespected for a man when I was walking from the hospital, and a man made it like as if he wanted me to offer him, he wanted to offer me to suck his you-know-what for $10, and I'm like, hell fucking no, who do you think I am? I don't participate in stuff I don't do stuff like that. I don't like stuff like that. And I hate BDSM. And I hate torture. So, um, I mean, for dirt cheap, I mean, and that's how cheap the perps, when they make these deals, they be like cheap deals, not sellout deals. I'll be damned if I sell out just to still be in this predicament. That's another reason not to. Because I heard that a lot of TIs have been manipulated and tricked and scammed into selling out and becoming perps. And people say that there's no turning back once you flip and turn evil or join the dark side. So, but I'm sorry it took me over 35 minutes to get to the point, because I was trying to make some illustrations and examples about certain things, So, when they try to, I mean, all the time that the gang stalkers, you hear about them entering into the target's home when the target is not there or when the target is asleep. Like, as I said, I would fall asleep and then wake up and my cabinets, the kitchen cabinets, open. At first, I thought it was just witchcraft or something supernatural, and then I would end up having nightmares, and so, and I don't like having sex. I don't. It's torture for me. It's torturous for me. Um, so, but anyway, um, but like, I feel like it's unfair that, I didn't mean any harm and I didn't maliciously intend to break the law or do wrong. All was on my mind, and I was days of sleep deprived, and all was on my mind was trying to have some place that I thought would be safe to survive. And so then, the lieutenant over the phone was trying to say ignorance is no excuse in the eyes of the law and this and that, and that there are different laws for different places or whatever, but I'm angry because if the gang stalkers intentionally, maliciously, and knowingly go into the target's private home, or they vandalize, or because when I had my car, yeah, they were freaking slashing tires and vandalizing when I had a car. 2005, before Hurricane Katrina, it was a brand new car. I just freaking got that car. It was a brand new car. Well, it had like 20 something miles on it. I don't remember if it was 21 or 23 miles on it. But it was extremely low. Like, I just got that car and freaking slashed tires already. Or and I forgot what other things the perps did to my car. But like, all the neighbors gang stalked me when I was living in New Orleans Towers. And the police would never do shit. Or they lie, and the fake security guards will. You got security cameras all over the apartment building, and there's still crime, and you still lie and say that there's nothing you can do. But what are you security guards there for? Or what's the point of police in the area? And y'all can't do shit? So, um, but it's like I'm mad because y'all throw me in jail. And that's part of the gang stalking script problem. Y'all know I'm homeless with nowhere to go. Because the gang stalking network, y'all conspired, y'all forced this to happen. And y'all were bragging and laughing about how you're going to make sure I go to jail. And one of the gang stalking goals to make you homeless, to make you incarcerated or in jail, or to institutionalized. They want you dead. And some people are not even taking this seriously. And one of the worst advice to give is to tell somebody, go see a therapist, and the therapist be in on it too. Therapists will not help you. You can't talk to a therapist about gang stalking. And lately, for the past couple of days, everything I've been reading was cops employing people to gang stalk and surveil. So, I mean, I'm angry that I'm targeted and didn't mean to commit a crime or didn't mean any harm. And y'all quick to throw me in jail. But all this trafficking, all this surveillance, all this harassment and abuse, and all these psychological games, it's freaking people get away with outright murdering a target and nothing happens. You hear about true crime. Viral true crime videos. And everybody sit there and think you're crazy until after you're dead. Then they want to talk about your cryptic message of you warning people in advance that, hey, they're trying to kill me. They just think, oh, you're mentally ill, you're schizophrenic. Don't nobody care. But people who enter, the gang stalkers that enter into the target's home, car, or whatever, why don't they tell them, stay off other people's property? You know that's not your property. How would you like if somebody went on your property? They don't get chewed out like that. Like, as I said, I'm being treated worse than a murderer. And then they said, it doesn't matter if you didn't know. Or that's irrelevant. And I'm facing criminal charges. But I get harassed, cussed out, and just about every damn day behind lies. And y'all saying there's nothing you can do? Somebody cussed me out yesterday and called me greedy. Or yesterday I saw the message where somebody cussed me out, and I'm not gonna say which platform, because I'm not gonna say which platform, because but a New Orleans Parish police officer told me that there is nothing that can be done about cyber internet gang stalking or harassment or cyberbullying. But why are people advising people to ignore death threats, though? But anyway, so yeah, but the reason why I said, well, I guess, but no, I'm not, I refuse to walk up at I think the address is 200 5th Street. I don't remember the address, but it's on 5th Street in Gretna, Gretna police. I refuse to interact with them or go to their station. They know they're part of the conspiracy. They know what's up. But you want to pretend like, oh, if you come to the office and show me your broke phone, then we'll help you and this and that. or will, and the cops that wrongfully arrested me, they're fucking perps. All this corruption and crookedness, and y'all don't do shit about it. But somebody that, made an innocent mistake trying to survive, you're throwing the wrong person in jail. But those boys that I got concrete proof that they're gang stalkers, and the police refused to lock them up. They refused to even investigate what they did. And those boys were just told to go home. Y'all saw that the police officers told me that I'm trespassed, but they didn't tell them that they're trespassed from there. All this is unfucking fair. And last summer when I was in Bloomington, they were torturing me with so many directed energy weapons. After I published those ebooks, they tortured me with directed energy weapons so bad that they nearly killed me. The police officers in Pensacola, Florida, and Bloomington, Texas, acting like there's nothing they can do about neighbors' noise campaign and noise harassment, and bullying and harassing and threatening me. But then the police officer tried to be like, "Oh well, what did he say? Oh well, he didn't threaten you then." So, but everybody got their minds made up to make me look bad. I mean, but the foster mom was always brutal and cruel and abusive and sadistic. And even before that situation happened, the foster mom, we were like 4, 5, 6 years old. She used to have the Kraft family, that Masonic Kraft family, that lived across the street. The foster mom used to have them babysit us after school. And even in kindergarten, Lanika was my only friend in kindergarten when she still had her innocence. And and so it's like when we were 6 and 7 years old, we used to be frightened of the Kraft family, and we used to mumble amongst ourselves and complain about how we hated them and we couldn't stand them, and sometimes we would make fun of them in their stinky house and everything, and but it seemed like as we got older, they started to have more respect for the Kraft family. But we all used to hate them when, me, Brandy, Joni, Wyatt, Mark. We all couldn't stand them, and Mark especially and Wyatt they used to laugh at and make fun of every damn body, But them talking about the stinking crafts was what they used to call them, the stinking crafts back then, But that Kraft family, if y'all Masonic and rich, you got a shotgun duplex house, and you got a whole freaking Lincoln Navigator, smack brand new Lincoln Navigator, but there's nothing that you can do to get rid of that stench, that old strong odor that been lingering for decades. And the house even stunk long after Miss Ollie passed away. Even in 2015, that house still stunk. Miss Cheryl, Monika's mom, her car is like filthy and smelly and everything. And Wyatt used to laugh and talk about how Miss Cheryl, Lanika's mom, would try to put perfume on top of funk or something like that, because even away from Miss Ollie's house, Miss Lillian lived like down the street, like a block away. That house always smelled like mold and mildew. But then Miss Cheryl's house smelled like Miss Ollie's house. Lanika's grandma's Miss Ollie. So, um, shucks. And, all those times when you hear about neighbors parking their car onto your property, they never freaking went to jail and nobody ever said, stay off other people's property. How many times Mr. Freddie, when he was alive, he would park his car by the foster mom's house and she would get mad, but Mr. Freddie was, you were forbidden and not allowed to take Mr. Freddie's parking spot. And he had that Lincoln Town car for years and hardly even drove it. But then he took that Navigator every damn where. But yeah, they used to stalk and spy on us and report back everything and even sometimes make up lies on us. Like, I was 11 years old. I told these stories before. John Kraft would, make up lies, and like I would be 10 and 11 years old, and the bus stop, the special ed bus stop, I was going to McDonald 26. I was in 4th, 5th grade, 6th grade. Excuse me. And I would be, in front of the foster mom's house waiting for the school bus. And the foster mom would confront me saying that John Kraft said that you were, flirting at every truck or every car that passes by. And it's like, and she would dare me to say that an adult is lying on me. And when he was freaking lying, if he said it, he was lying on me. But I realized that they're projecting, like John was projecting his nieces, what they did, onto me. If the foster mom, Adrian Felder, said that Miss Cheryl was prostituting her daughters to older men when they were underage and we were like middle school. And then they project that onto me. Like, damn, like what grown man makes false rumors about an 11-year-old girl? Innocent, not much of, I mean, I've been exposed to, like, looking at, sex on TV or whatever, but, I knew nothing about prostitution or nothing, I knew nothing about that at all. So, but it might have been that, me and my childlike innocence, just women and men, anybody passed by in their car, I would wave and say hi. You want to know why? Because one time me, Brandy, Joni, and Wyatt, and I don't remember if Mark too, and we went to what used to be Mary's Bakery on Lafayette Street and 7th Street. And Mark and Wyatt used to laugh and talk bad about those donuts. Those donuts used to be made fresh at 5 a.m. every morning. And they used to laugh and say that the donuts were old and stale or whatever, So, like, we were walking, and they had these people in the neighborhood that said hi to us, and we didn't say hi back because people telling us, don't talk to strangers, So, they're like, what's wrong with y'all? This lady was like, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all don't speak? And I'm like, oh, hi, how you doing? So since then, I guess I've been trying to, be friendly and say hi, And John Kraft took that and lied and said that I flirt at every man. Like, where the hell they get this from? And so, like, Miss Cheryl, they said Miss Cheryl was like promiscuous or a hoe or whatever, and herself. And some people say Miss Ollie was too. So it's like multi generational Freemason, satanic, prostituting, or whatever. So like, can you picture this? I was 7 years old in second grade. I was by the foster mom's house waiting for the school bus. And they had a lady pass by, and Miss Cheryl had waved at her, or they spoke to each other or whatever. And the lady probably stopped and spoke to her or something. And then she drove off. And I was a kid. I was 7 years old. I said, "Who's that?" And that's Lanika's mom, Miss Cheryl. And she said, "That's my cousin Vanessa." And I know you want to know what kind of drawers she got on, because I don't know. Like, why would you talk to like that to a freaking kid? Like, it wouldn't even cross my mind to question what kind of underwear she's. But they just say the nastiest and filthiest things to you because they think you're slow and retarded. Like ghetto people, they would talk and act like that, and be extra sexually perverted, But you've been hoeing the whole time, and still a hoe. And then train your daughters to be like that. Gretna police, yeah, they know the Kraft family. All those Masonic secrets. Yeah. The Gretna police, they know that Kraft family very well. And the Kraft family, they're freaking perps. Yeah, they know more, because they always knew more of our own business than we knew of our own business. Like, how you know more about me than I know about me? And the Kraft family always had a reputation for being so nosy. And John Kraft, that man was the one who set the foster dad Al up to get arrested and go to jail. I was 8 years old. That was the first day I ever lost respect for the cops. But I remember I was 6 years old in first grade, and I called 911. I don't know why I did it. I was a kid, I called 911, and the police yelled at me and threatened to take me to jail, and it was a grown man. You couldn't tell a grown male police officer threatening to take a 6-year-old child to jail. Because I called 911, I didn't know, And then the foster dad Al gave me like one of the worst ass whoopings of my entire life. I'm talking about whip with a belt. I didn't know. I was a freaking little kid, Yeah, I think that was the most brutal belt whippings that I ever got. So dang. I mean, and Gretna police, even though they got some black officers, I guess, Gretna police have been having a bad reputation for years about being racist. The city of Gretna had a bad reputation for being racist against black people. Except unless you're a Masonic satanic sellout. And the Kraft family, they work closely with that Gretna police. And as I said, Lanika and the Kraft family and the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, and my twin sister, they all, that one freaking incident that ruined my damn life. Before then, people weren't sabotaging me, calling me crazy. I mean, sure, I had some bullying and being treated mean. They used to bully me really bad in 7th grade, and me and my twin sister, we used to have our hair forced to be cut short. And, they used to bully, harass, and threaten us and laugh at us and call us boy. And then the bullying got worse when we were in 8th grade, and they used to say, oh, you look like a boy in a dress, because the foster mom used to force us to, wear our hair, short like this. And even more embarrassing, the doggone flat top. But then again, we were kids, and I wanted the flat top. I was fascinated by that back then, but nowadays I wouldn't wear a flat top. But then again, when I wanted to wear my hair long and wear my hair down, the foster mom would never let me. And you see other kids wear long hair or wear their hair down. Nah, she would put all these little ponytails or so-called dookie braids in my hair. She even forced me to wear my hair in a ponytail graduating from high school. And I felt like, well, how come everybody else got to walk across the stage with their hair down, their hair straightened, and their hair long? I wanted to, walk across the stage graduating with my hair down and my hair long. And then, she forced me to wear a ponytail with graduating from high school. And then, and then that was the day that Mr. Freddie from the Kraft family had meddled in my business and cussed me from A to Z because balloons hanging out the window. Yeah, I will never forget that day. And the foster mom even abused me and was cruel the day I graduated and the day after I graduated. Yeah, I really, yeah, the foster mom couldn't blame Lanika because the foster mom would have been up against something so powerful. So it was easier for her to scapegoat me, the foster child. She already didn't like me anyway. But the Kraft family, Masonic and full of witchcraft and stuff, that, I don't even know if they probably would have had her dead if she would have rightfully blamed Lanika for orchestrating it, like hiking and setting this situation up. And they wanted me to take the fall. So, and then some people were trying to insinuate that when the foster grandma passed away and my twin sister did the sexual stuff with the foster boy Matthew, and then, I don't even know if the Gretna police secretly offered her a deal, a sellout deal, because, if they offered my twin sister, because at first my twin sister was getting all the persecution. She was getting it worse than Joni, I think. She was getting it worse than Joni, and she lied about what happened. And I don't know if the police, because I wasn't at the police station. I didn't go. I mean, that foster boy Matthew went to jail, and then shortly after he got out of jail. And then, but I don't know if right then and there, if the police caught my twin sister lying and said that, well, we're going to make a deal. Either you go to jail or you sell out to the devil and gang stalk your twin sister Candy. Ever since then, my life was a wrap. It was over. over. And then me being upset about being scapegoated for what Lanika did, what she set up. I had nothing to freaking do with it. All that sexual stuff that was going on. Because at first, Lanika was trying to control us and force us to stay downstairs while she tried to hike up for Joni to have, do stuff with an underage boy, and Joni was 18. Joni was about to go to jail too. And all this while the foster grandma Mildred Collins was on her deathbed. And so then ultimately, of course, I was upset and started to act out and everything because of being scapegoated and blamed and everything. And, and I was having nightmares, couldn't sleep. And I was having nightmares and couldn't sleep. And like prior to like what happened at the track meet, Lanika was perping the fuck out of me. Lanika was perping and antagonizing the fuck out of me. I was already targeted. And then I guess I just snapped, and blacked out and punched her and didn't realize until after. But she hit me back. But she kept on triggering and antagonizing and provoking me. And she was already like, we were underage and she was trying to sexually experiment on everybody and everything. Even doing stuff with my own twin sister. And when in 8th grade, Brandy, something happened when we were in 7th grade that my twin sister said Joni and Lanika, pinned her down and did sexual stuff or whatever. Brandy waited like a year later to tell me, and we were in 8th grade. And even in 8th grade, Lanika hiked up a sexual situation. Again, forced us to stay downstairs. And then while she coached Joni, which was 13-year-old coaching a 17 or 18-year-old to do sexual stuff. Like, so I was wondering, is this part of the trafficking? Like, was Lanika being sex trafficked and then acting out the sexual stuff she never did anything sexual towards me. But the stuff with Brandy and Lanika always felt threatened by me and hated me. And the Kraft family, they always hated me because they said, we don't like you, you a snitch, or you're a rat, you tell on people. But they even persecuted me even when I was in 8th grade. Like, I think it was over the summer, and I had my allowance money, and Letitia, which was Danielle's sister, that's Lanika's cousin, and Tish was always big and overweight. And I probably had $3 or something from my allowance money. And Letitia, that's Miss Lillian's daughter, Miss Cheryl's niece, used me to buy donuts for the whole house, for everybody in the house. And then like the Kraft family members, they were always watching porn in front of us. Not every member, but Letitia and Danielle, they used to watch a lot of porn, But anyway, so they were doing adult things at a young age. So one time Letitia used me and took advantage of me and manipulated for me to buy donuts for everybody in the house. And I didn't get not one donut, or maybe just one donut. And everybody else was restricted to one donut. But Lanika was allowed to have as many donuts as she wanted, like at least 3, 4, 5 donuts, and was always glorified as the special one. So, and Letitia, she called me greedy or whatever. And, bullying, harassing, and picking on me, And so I called up Letitia later on that day, and I confronted her and told her, you hurt my feelings or whatever, And then she's like, if you're greedy, you're greedy. And then slammed the phone, hung up in my face. And I just bust out crying. But this is how they single, and I wasn't I wasn't even obese. I was skinny as fuck. Well, not anorexic, but I was really skinny in 8th grade. I can show you a picture where I was, I can show you a picture when I was 13 years old in 8th grade, and people were still calling me fat and greedy. I was skinny. But they've been calling me greedy ever since 5th grade, since Prozac. Hold on, I gotta use the bathroom. Okay, I'm back. So, as usual, as usual, I kind of forgot where I left off at with talking, but yeah, but why aren't y'all, the police officers, going hard, at the gang stalkers? And last year, I was trying to say that last year, I think it was, like last year, I had that noise harassment incident with that neighbor down the street in Bloomington. And he let me know that they made a smear campaign on Facebook about me. And he called me crazy, bullied, harassed, and threatened me, and called me crazy to my face. And I don't even know if he was trying to pull a gun out on me. And then when May came, that was in April, and then May came, and I had and that was, I think, the day after I had the gang stalking incident with those underage young girls fraudulently and illegally following me around with one headlight. And they wanted to call the police on me and trying to get me in trouble on purpose. And gang stalkers, like the kids that gang stalk, will make jail threats and try to falsely imprison and hold you hostage until the police come. Or they'll crowd around you and won't let you leave and try to bully, harass, and threaten you and make you feel unsafe. And then it's like, and they, like what those boys did to me a few days ago. A couple of weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago. I had an incident like that in Pensacola, downtown, and I told y'all about that a few days ago. So, but that was black kids trying to, falsely frame me for an attempted murder. Or they falsely blamed me for the reason why that lady that was also a perp, why she acted like as if she was screaming bloody murder. And they falsely accused me of trying to kill that lady. And I was way on the other side, but that lady was planted there. So other homeless people try to sleep where you sleeping at. Why they don't go to jail for trespassing? If they be planted fake homeless perps. And these perps that be actors, that they will go as far as to not take baths, to look disheveled. Did I pronounce that right? And they let themselves be stinky, funky, and dirty in the same clothes, and busted up shoes, messed up teeth, and manipulate for everybody to think they really are homeless. And I heard that the fake homeless actual scammers are a mockery to us real homeless, and a lot of us that be targeted and forced into homelessness. And so, and then they go fraudulently and illegally driving in a nice vehicle, and then go they already sold their souls, you know. And I think that that's just street theater to make us legitimate homeless and poor and suffering and targeted to look bad, you know. And you begging for money, and they're able to see that swindling people. Like some of the people with their fake GoFundMe's that really do be fake, and they're able to raise like $400,000 like within 10 hours, and don't need the money at all. And then they will fake and lie about their daughter being sick with cancer and stuff, and then they get busted and none of it's true. I even heard a recent story about something along those lines within the past week or two. And then, you know, but like I was reading yesterday and today about the main theme about gang stalking is a lot of people are saying it's the slander in the community, and this part of narcissistic abuse and Darvo, and that projection that they're falsely accusing you of what they are guilty of. So they will falsely accuse the target of harassment and stalking when we're defending ourselves against being targeted, harassed, and stalked. You know, and if people will like bully, harass, and laugh at you and do and say stuff on purpose to trigger you and make you mad, and then when you're upset and distraught and having a meltdown, they ignorantly laugh. And then get undeserved praise for it, you know. But it's like all these death threats from online that I get and in person, and the police wouldn't do shit. All the noise harassment, noise campaigns, and people say this is the gang stalking really is a felony crime. But, you know, they trying to say criminal trespassing and criminal mischief meant the same thing, but mischief should be like more like you did it on purpose, maliciously, and know what the fuck you're doing. But I wasn't even trying to do that. I didn't even realize, you know. So, but if it weren't for me to be forced homeless, then, and I heard this happens to a lot of homeless people, that, you know, homeless people to be like have nowhere to go and be wrongfully trespassed from somewhere or discriminated. And a lot of people say that the cops do not know the law, or that they don't know the real laws and everything, and that they're trying to enforce laws that they don't know, and that they're mainly about ego, their ego being bruised and emotions and feelings rather than standing up for what's right. And they're more about being power hungry, you know. So, I mean, as I said, for something that I didn't even know, or, you know, wasn't even trying to do wrong, and had nowhere else to go, and you know, but I mean, to see this fake officer Christiana being like just praised and rewarded and awarded despite being evil and abusive and sadistic, and I know she's younger than me. I know she's young. I know she's under 35. But I'm pretty sure, yeah, I heard about 24-year-old cops arresting 90-year-olds and stuff, and, you know, think that, oh, we got authority over you. But they say that people with narcissistic personalities are attracted to jobs and positions with power and authority, and they will sell their souls to Satan for it. And that's why I despise them even being a cop or any so-called authority over me, because you cheating and you fake and you lied and you sold your soul to the devil. Yeah, I'm gonna say you sold your soul to the devil in order to be a cop. And all cops are Freemasons, and the so-called good cops get targeted like us and get covertly murdered off. And I heard it's all about corruption and the what they call the good old boys club, but then it'd be like bad people. And that, if you stand up against corruption, or if you're a whistleblower, they will kill you. You wouldn't even stand a chance being a police officer and standing up for what's right. Everything about law enforcement is corruption, narcissistic abuse, scam, fraud, and corruption. And they be part of the trafficking too. But they want to pretend like they can do no wrong, or pretend like they're flawless, pretend like they're without sin. Like, how are you without sin and you perfect, but oh, you don't even acknowledge God, you don't pray, you don't read the Bible, you know, and and and, and it seems like the New Orleans police are super ghetto, and it's like, dang, I figure the jails or prisons would be worse the bigger the city. Like, I mean, if I would have ended up in Chicago jail or prison or something like that, I mean, I don't think I'd make. I mean, I don't, probably wouldn't even make it at Gretna jail or prison or whatever. But I'm scared the fact that if it weren't for the prison or jail overcrowding, then I would still be in jail until court date. But they let me out because of they let me out because of the prison overcrowding. But I mean, once I got the work money and the Social Security check, I would have had the money to pay the $100 bond. I mean, if that could have let me out or whatever. I didn't have it in cash, but I don't know how I would have been able to pay them, on a debit card. But this was all part of the gang stalking setup. And I was having nightmares, like, I mean, like, after I dealt with the thing in Bloomington, Texas, with that police incident and the noise campaign, and then I published a couple of ebooks, and then the perps got mad and started torturing me with weapons, and I had badass vertigo, and thought I was gonna die, and the paramedics were abusive, and then I had the Social Security incident, and ever since after that June 29th incident with the Social Security, I kept on having nightmares, almost every dream, having nightmares about being wrongfully arrested and taken to jail. Like, can you imagine going to sleep every night and every dream that you have is like a gang stalking dream manipulation about you getting arrested and going to jail or prison, or being locked up and put away in prison for the rest of your life? For life. And I would wake up traumatized. But then I spent many nights being sleep deprived and up all night, and then couldn't fall asleep until the morning. Or would end up falling asleep later in the morning or early afternoon and only got a couple of hours of sleep. And it was just made me even more depressed. But police corruption, the fact that, like when you're in school and you'll be bullied, and then um, you're a child and you're afraid to say anything because if you report being bullied, then you get punished from the teachers. But then, like, that's why a lot of people don't report crime or that they don't report abuse, because you report abuse to the police, and they jail you and not the perpetrator. Or they'll threaten to jail you and not the perpetrator. I mean, all those beatings from the foster brother Joe, I called fake Gretna police, and they would make threats to throw me in jail. And I'm like, that's not fair at all. Like one time when I was over 18, I was at least 18. The foster brother Joe beat me up, and that was the time when he put his knee in my throat, and then raised up my left arm, balled up my fist, and then used my own fist to force me to punch myself. When he punched me with my own fist and bust my lip, I called the police, and the police said that if he presses charges on you, it'll be just you to go to jail. But if you press charges on him, then both of y'all going to jail. And I'm like, but no matter what, they're going to make it to where I'm going to jail. When I was being victimized by abuse, the foster mom sicked Joe on me like a dog. Her son, biological son Joe, because the foster nephew Kyle was perping and harassing and blasting loud music. I'm sorry, blasting loud TV, or we fought over the TV, something with the TV. You know, oh no, I know what it was. Kyle would not let me watch a TV show I wanted to watch. And the foster mom sicked Joe on me like a dog. And Gretna police would tell me stuff like, you know, to have a place to live is a privilege and not a right. And the foster mom was stealing my fucking money. I mean, all those times I was 18 and over, and I kept trying to break away from her and trying to get my own place. You know, excuse me. No, that was in 2006 that the officers, the fake Gretna police, told me to have a place to live is a privilege and not a right. And then when I was in New York, the abusive, narcissistic, fake bully paramedics told me the same thing when they were trying to lock me up in a mental institution. Well, and then so somebody on Yahoo Answers said, well, why don't they say to themselves that to have a badge is a privilege and not a right? Because they will grant the perps all these rights, but you, the target, you don't have any rights. They criminalize you living and breathing. And I'm sick and tired of these eternally angry, abusive, narcissistic gang stalkers that, you know, have a craving to, you know, sadistically torture and punish people undeservingly. And so, but anyway, speaking of that, I kept forgetting to mention that 2 days ago was the 4-year anniversary of the last time I had been raped. And that guy that raped me had he was way younger than me, like 9 years younger than me. He was like in his like mid or late 20s or something, and I was in my 30s, and I just, the fact that I was, you know, so yeah, 2 days ago was 4-year anniversary since I was last raped. And because of what happened with the Freemason rape in Los Angeles, I was in Pensacola when that last rape 4 years ago. But the Freemason rape in Los Angeles, that traumatized me that I didn't even report the rape of what the guy did to me. And then after the Freemason rape, but before that rape, the rape that happened in December of 2012. I mean, and like from December 2012 to all the way till 2020, that was you know, over 7 years. So, but if it weren't for the rape that happened 4 years ago, the last rape would have been, I could have said, 11 years ago. But I heard that, the random rapes and everything is part of the sex trafficking of targeted women, and they put it on a dark web. You know, and what year was that? In 2018, it was a Filipino guy with dirty hands that was supposedly homeless, and he sexually assaulted me. Cops wouldn't do anything. My stuff got stolen. The cops lied on me and said that I intentionally made my stuff to be set out there for it to get stolen, and that wasn't even true. Santa Monica police in Los Angeles metro area, they refused to do anything and blamed me for my stuff being stolen. So when my stuff got stolen in Pensacola, back in 2021, I didn't even call the police. But I was devastated again. Again. And you never know who be stalking and watching you the whole time, watching your every move while you're asleep and vulnerable. And it's like, why does society not care about a single disabled, homeless black female? And then, even other black people, either other black women and black men do not care about you being homeless and forced vulnerable in like open season for any attacks, harassment, or abuse, or outright murder. It's like you're not allowed to be anywhere, and then for you to end up being wrongfully set up to go to jail. And last summer the perps were harassing me with death almost every day and telling me I won't be able to live to see 40. And they would say stuff like, "You're about to go to prison," and got like over 15 thumbs up on a fake comment on my videos. But they're the ones who need to be in prison and hell. But nobody cares to even put a stop to gang stalking. And it seems like all of society need to come together and put an end to this. But now they rely on us, only us victims, to try to put a stop to it, and we can't do it by ourselves. But so many victims turn into perpetrators. So many TIs have turned into perps. And they said that's either the gang stalking goals, to either turn you into a perp or make you off yourself, or to manipulate for you to be a mind-controlled mass shooter, and then that would be a so-called fake justification for the police to shoot you to death. I mean, that was really sad what happened with Myron May. But I have no weapons, and, I can't hurt nobody. I mean, no way could I have fought off those cops, even one of them, and for me to have the upper hand and win. You know, and as I said, I mean, it's so unfair, for them to talk about, oh, you were on other people's property, stay off other people's property, but y'all won't do shit about the trafficking and gang stalking that forced me homeless and jobless, for homelessness and joblessness, and you forced me to be homeless. I mean, I could have been still at work at Piccadilly right now. I would have been on the clock too. So, um, yeah, I would have been I would have been at work. But I've been always fearful and scared, and I guess people took advantage of me with that too. But but I've been trying to fight to be more courageous, braver, and more strong. But but yeah, but I had I mean I'm sitting here thinking that if it weren't for these financial mess ups that happened, um like the phone situation, I called up this morning, and my phone service still had not renewed or kicked in, and I paid everything. I talked to the customer service guy on the phone. He said his name was Chris. Excuse me. And he wasn't even that helpful. And I would ask him questions and talk to him. And he would take like 10 whole freaking minutes to respond. And I got frustrated and I started cussing at him. And eventually I freaking hung up in his face. And I forgot to mention that yesterday I went down to breakfast. And I went down to breakfast yesterday, and there was a perp with a red sleeveless shirt and black sweatpants that nearly bumped into me as I walked down the stairs and went to the lobby to go try to get breakfast. And then today, a car pulled up simultaneously at the same time that I was about to walk in to go get breakfast. And then the front desk girl, I tried to ask her for a muffin. All they had was cereal and bread. That was it. And I asked her for a muffin, and I think they had some apples. And she gave me this glaring mean. Her face twisted up, mad, and gave me this glaring mean look when I asked her for She gave me this mean look when I asked her for you know she gave me a mean look when I asked her for a muffin. And they said that they locked the muffins up because a lot of people take them all. But maybe they should put a sign saying that you should only take one muffin or take two muffins or whatever. But and then she didn't even ask me which muffin I wanted or what flavor. She tried to give me what she wanted me to have. What she narcissistically wanted me to have. Well, thankfully it was chocolate muffin. So then she got more irritated with me when I went back up to my room and my keys didn't work again. So then I went back downstairs, and she was, trying to act like she's trying to punish me by restricting me to have only one key. And it's like I got the feeling that she don't like me for whatever. For I don't know what reason. Maybe the perps lied to her. She does not like me. She don't like me. But anyway, though, I have something good that I'm going through a little bit, just for a couple of days, But I can't mention it because the perps trying to sabotage and destroy. So I can't say, you know, but but yeah, I've been like too depressed to work on any writings or anything like that, and I'm hoping that I said everything that I remembered to say, because there's a lot of stuff that been slipping my mind that I forgot to say or kept forgetting to say, you know. And so like I mean, as I said, as I'm going through this suffering, and the perps were bragging about how we're gonna make sure you put in jail, or we're gonna make sure you do this. When I had my house, my place to live, like since the first day I got the place and I showed the place, and they were like, we're gonna make you back homeless again, and they already found out the exact location of where I was living at. And they were bullying, harassing, and threatening me and telling me, we're going to do this to you, we're going to do that to you. And they followed through with their threats. So, if they're making death threats, and after they say, we're going to call the police on you, and we're going to make sure you go to jail, or I went to jail. If they say, oh, we're going to make sure you're dead, and then, y'all ain't taking me seriously. And when somebody warns anybody, when they warn that people are trying to kill them, y'all dismiss that person as crazy and a bad person. And then after that person is dead, then you want to quote unquote give them their flowers. And speak well of them. I think that's all part of the fake gang stalking script too, because, and you wonder how the wicked live so long. And everybody speaks well of these evil people. A lot of people with that's evil, with a lot of money and power, and the money and power and fake authority and all that is the reason why they stay out of jail and prison. Or they know how to manipulate and lie their way out of to stay out of trouble. Even people in your own family, if you got so many evil family members, you wonder how they never went to jail before. How they don't know what it feels like to ever be handcuffed. Don't know what it's like to have to be forced to take an antidepressant. Don't know what it's like to be punched in the eye. Ain't never been hurt. Ain't never had to freaking suffer. Don't know what it's like to go with one meal without one meal to eat. Don't know what it's like to have to suffer a night with no roof over your head and howling winds and forced to be sleeping outside homeless, and you wake up and it's pouring rain on you. Y'all don't even know what that feels like. Ain't never a day in your life had to suffer. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm just taking everything one day at a time. I mean, I wasn't even trying to commit a crime, but they set me up for this incarceration thing, and if they can't get you with that, then they'll get you to have you dead, unless, I mean, these traffickers make it like they're trying to beat me into submission to join the New World Order and join evil. And join the Illuminati. Join the satanic forces. And that's why they're doing this to me. And others, countless others. It's not just about me. Many of us have our own story. And then y'all try to silence us and tell us just shut up and ignore everything. And they don't pay them any attention or don't react when this freaking shit needs to be exposed, and I'm fucking fed up and sick and tired.